Welcome, you are one-on-one with Wes the Sports Guy here on YouTube and online all the time at westhesportsguy.com. I got a busy week for you this week as the NFL season is underway, essentially, with the opening night in the NFL on Thursday between the Atlanta Falcons and defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. And I've also got a lot to get to with the NFL coming up this Sunday with a lot of the matchups that are about to happen, and a quick little news update as well with one star player that is not reported to camp or to the team just yet, I should say. But be sure you subscribe and hit that Liberty Bell button to get all the notifications for the upcoming videos and episodes every week on YouTube for my channel, One-on-One with Wes the Sports Guy. And also head over to westhesportsguy.com because with the NFL season starting up, that means my weekly review segments are going to be popping up every week after the regular season week matchups have happened. I'm going to basically just spotlight about 3 games or so, whether it be moments in the game or some big news event that happened that week. It's going to be highlighted every single week of this regular season and going into the playoffs as well this NFL season. Be sure to bookmark westhesportsguy.com as well as along with the YouTube channel. Starting off real quick, I'm losing my voice a little bit, but anyway, starting off the opening night between the Atlanta Falcons and Philadelphia Eagles. I was not able to watch every single second of it. I watched the highlight package that NFL.com puts together on their YouTube page, and I would share for you here, but then there's going to be copyright issues and stuff like that. But anyway, you can go there and check that out after this video. But looking at the highlights alone, it seemed like it was a pretty decent game. The final score doesn't suggest that, being 18-12 in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. But regardless, it was a very, very good football game for the most part. It seemed like it was entertaining to the highlight package, at least. And everybody's questioning the play calling of the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons right now, Steve Sarkisian, even though it seemed to work for the most part, because when you target your best receiver for 19 times in the game and he gets 10 catches, that's a pretty successful afternoon for him, but he did not get a touchdown catch. And that's one of the biggest things I have with the Atlanta Falcons this year is that you have to get Julio Jones touchdowns. You want success, you got to get this guy involved, and they did get him involved quite a bit, but he needs some scores to have a big impact on a game. And yeah, it was working for the most part, but they just could not cash it in. Yes, they targeted him 19 times. I understand that. But you've got to cash in at least one time getting a touchdown, and that didn't happen for the Falcons, and that's why they ended up losing the game. Eagles looked very good on defense for the most part. They did not let the Falcons have a lot of running room. Granted, Tevin Coleman did get the lone touchdown for the Atlanta Falcons in the game, but in the long run, this is not going to be a success for a winning formula, I should say, for success for the Atlanta Falcons going forward. It's only the first game. It's a Thursday night. You're playing the defending champs on their home turf. It's not a matchup that's in their favor by any stretch of the imagination, but the Eagles were the better team going into it, and they showed it, and they didn't even have their best player in Carson Wentz. He was not available. Carson Wentz is probably going to be held out another game just to make sure he's totally 100% and ready to go for another title run. And that's what that Eagles team is. They are another Super Bowl contending team this year. There's no doubt about that. Time for the rapid fire segment that has a different ring to it. In the Ring of Fire segment, as I alluded to with an NFL star that has not even reported to his team yet, Le'Veon Bell of the Pittsburgh Steelers still has not shown up, has not signed his franchise tender, and that's a bit concerning if you're a Steelers fan and if you're a fantasy football fan to boot, because if you used your first pick on Le'Veon Bell, you got to be a little bit steamed right now that he's not showing up. But again, fantasy football taken out of the equation, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not a contending team for the Super Bowl. Sure, they're a playoff team, no doubt about it, but they're not a Super Bowl contender if they don't have Le'Veon Bell. That's a cause for concern. I think he will show up eventually. He's got until week 11 to sign that franchise tender. Otherwise, he's not awarded free agency next year, which I'm sure he's going to want that. But looking at it going forward, I'd have to say that Le'Veon Bell, it's costing you a lot of money right now, but again, he's holding out for as much money as he possibly can get. And that's his right to do that. And that's what happens when you run a sport as a business and you have situations like this happening. And it's something that fans just don't care for. And I'm one of them. I don't really care for it either, but I tend to side with the player in a lot of these cases. But in this one, it's a bit concerning if you're a Steelers fan, which I'm not, but it's okay. I mean, I'm kind of putting a subtle sign here to say, hey, he can come to Frisco. We'll be more than happy to take him because we lost our running back. So, hey, let us have Le'Veon Bell at Pittsburgh. And the last topic of the Ring of Fire segment is Shohei Ohtani is apparently going to need Tommy John surgery now for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That's the formality of the name. They are still the Anaheim Angels, in my opinion, but that's beside the point. Shohei Ohtani is going to need Tommy John surgery on his pitching arm fairly soon, I would imagine, but the Angels are still going to play him as a DH full-time for the rest of this season, so that should not cause any more damage that's already been done to the elbow, which he's not going to be fielding any time soon at all. He's not going to do any of that. He's just going to be a full-time DH, which is fine. So as long as it's not going to do any more damage, go ahead and do it because he is raking right now. If you haven't seen his stats, he has almost 20 home runs in his rookie season in Major League Baseball, and the highest or the most he ever hit in Japan in one season was 22. So it's a good possibility he could eclipse that with just about 3 weeks left in the regular season for Major League Baseball. And the Angels have no chance of making the playoffs either, so might as well get as much as you can for him right now. Time for the segment that won't have Nike as a sponsor. Do you remember?
You remember?
I'm sure you remember that I've vented about Colin Kaepernick many times before, and I'm sick and tired of doing it. But again, you remember the whole fiasco with Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the national anthem a few seasons ago, and it's never gone away. This is the last time, I promise, I'm going to talk about this in length. This is it. If you want to hear more, you can go elsewhere, but this is it for me. I'm done. So Nike decided to run an ad with Colin Kaepernick as its spokesperson for the upcoming NFL season. So essentially that pissed off a lot of people. People don't like Nike now, and people still don't care for Colin Kaepernick, and people still don't care for this upcoming NFL season. There's just a lot of I don't cares, but apparently people care. It just boggles my mind. But again, those that don't care about Nike decided to make viral videos of them burning their clothing and their shoes and all that stuff, which, again, the counterpoint to that is very valid. Why don't you use that to donate the clothing that you don't want anymore because of the business decision that Nike decided to make? I agree. Donate the clothing. Why burn it? It's very, very stupid on your part. I mean, you wasted a lot of money on the Nike clothing to begin with because, in my opinion, their shoes and clothing are just garbage for the most part. Yes, I do have some Nike shirts that have the stupid swoosh on it and everything like that, but that's because I bought it for the team aspect. Just because Nike's got their stupid logo on it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't buy their shoes, I guarantee you that. They're garbage. I don't like the make of them. And I'm basing that off of my own experience with the clothing and the shoes and all the other stuff, so on and so forth. But if you want to burn it over a stupid ad of something that you just don't believe in, that's your own business. Congratulations, I guess. Like, really? That's the best you want to spend your time with is burning clothes? All right, good for you. And then on top of it, Nike makes a very bizarre business decision because it's going to hurt their bottom line probably. They did lose quite a bit of stock when that whole thing came down, but they did bring it back up a little bit. I read a few days ago that it's been brought up to its normal levels. It's kind of peaked a little bit now. But again, in the long run, it's just a business deciding that they want to make some kind of a statement and go against the grain, and maybe they can make a profit out of it. That's all it's about, profit. They're not there to make a point about anything. It's all for profit. So again, if you're going to get worked up about Colin Kaepernick and Nike, there's better things to do with your life. Move on. We've all made our opinions wildly known about this. Move on. Football's about to start. This is a bunch of crap. Get on with it. And ending the show on a much lighter note, the feel-good story of the week comes to you from Major League Baseball and specifically Cincinnati Reds first baseman Joey Votto, as I share this tweet from the Cincinnati Reds official Twitter account. Basically, Joey Votto saw a fan by the name of Kyle who had a T-shirt on that was essentially asking or saying that Joey Votto, for president, essentially. Reading the tweet. I'm doing a terrible job of reading the tweet, but you can see it here for yourself anyway. One thing's for sure, though, is that Joey Votto is an all-around good guy, because what he ended up doing is he ended up trading his own jersey for the T-shirt from the fan, and he signed the jersey by saying, "More like Prime Minister." And the reason why he said that is because Joey Votto is actually not an American citizen. He was born in Canada and thus cannot be elected president of the United States. But again, regardless, Joey Votto has done this for most of his career. He's had great interactions with fans, even not just Reds fans. He's had great interactions with opposing teams' fans. It's just, he's a great guy. All around, he's a great person. He's fun to interact with, and he's also a pretty damn good baseball player, too. I mean, look at his stats. He's a former NL MVP as well for the Reds, so it's a class act all the way around, and that's something that you can look at and smile about, because there's still good players out there. We don't have to keep focusing on the negatives. There's plenty of good ones out there. Just focus on that, and we'll have a much better time with our lives. It's very simple. Thank you for tuning in this week. I will see you next time. Be sure to go to westthesportsguy.com. Check out those weekly reviews in the NFL with the NFL season starting up, ramping up as we speak. It's coming. It's finally here. Thank you. It's finally here. But tune in next week as well for episode 27 right here on YouTube, One-on-One with West the Sports Guy. I will see you next time.
I've been down so long that my crown and gone is nothing.